Long before maps were complete, before oceans were fully explored, and before the world felt small, sailors whispered about a bird so massive it could darken the sky itself. A creature whose wings were said to create storms, a beast powerful enough to lift elephants into the air. This was not a dragon, not a monster of the deep. This was a bird. Its name was the ROC. In the ancient world, the ROC was more than a legend. It was a warning, a symbol of nature's overwhelming power, and a reminder that some parts of the world were never meant to be conquered. The earliest stories of the ROC come from Arabian mythology, especially the legendary collection known as 1001 Nights, or Arabian Nights. These tales were passed from generation to generation, long before they were ever written down. In these stories, the ROC lived on remote islands at the edge of the known world, places sailors feared to approach, places where the sea met the sky, and where reality slowly turned into myth. According to legend, the ROC was the largest bird to ever exist. Its wingspan was said to stretch wider than ships' sails. Its claws were described as massive as palm trees, and its shadow could cover entire islands. When the ROC took flight, the wind from its wings could uproot trees. When it landed, the ground itself was said to tremble. One of the most famous encounters with the ROC comes from the story of Sinbad the sailor. After being shipwrecked, Sinbad finds himself stranded on what appears to be a peaceful island. But soon he notices something strange, an enormous white dome rising from the ground. At first he believes it to be a hill, but then he realizes the truth. It is an egg, not just any egg, an egg belonging to the ROC. The egg is described as being so massive that several men could stand around it without reaching halfway. Sinbad soon understands that he has stumbled into a place no human was meant to visit, because where there is an egg, there is a parent. As night falls, the sky darkens unnaturally. A massive shadow passes overhead. The air grows violent, and then the ROC returns. The bird is so large that it blocks the moon itself. Its wings beat like thunder. Its eyes burn with ancient intelligence. Terrified, Sinbad ties himself to the bird's leg, hoping it will carry him away at sunrise. And when the ROC takes flight, it lifts him effortlessly, as if a grown man weighs no more than a feather. This single story shaped how generations imagined the ROC, not just as a bird, but as a force of nature. Across Arabian folklore, the ROC was believed to prey on the largest animals on earth: elephants, rhinos, creatures so massive that no normal predator could challenge them. Yet the ROC could seize them in its talons and carry them into the sky. This detail is important because it tells us something about how ancient people viewed the ROC, not as fantasy alone, but as something biologically possible, at least in their imagination. As trade routes expanded, stories of the ROC spread beyond Arabia. Persian travelers, Indian merchants, and even European explorers began hearing whispers of a giant bird living in distant lands. Some believed the ROC lived near Madagascar. Others claimed it nested in the mountains beyond India. A few insisted it came from islands so remote no ship could ever return from them. By the time European writers encountered these stories, they tried to rationalize them. What kind of bird could inspire such fear? Some scholars believed the ROC was an exaggerated memory of real extinct animals. One popular theory connects the ROC to the Apiornis, also known as the elephant bird. This was a real bird that once lived in Madagascar. It stood over 10 feet tall. Its eggs were the largest ever laid by any animal in history. And although it could not fly, its sheer size shocked early explorers. When sailors saw these enormous eggs, they may have imagined a bird capable of flight, and so the legend grew. Another theory suggests that ancient sailors witnessed giant eagles or massive seabirds in storm conditions. When seen from ships, magnified by fear and distance, these birds could appear far larger than they truly were. But theory alone cannot fully explain the roc, because the roc was never described as an animal behaving like other animals. It was described as ancient, almost timeless. In many stories, the roc represents the boundary between the known and the unknown. It appears only when humans travel too far, when curiosity overcomes caution. The roc punishes arrogance. It destroys ships. It claims those who believe they have mastered the sea. Symbolically, the roc stands for nature's dominance over humanity. In a time when the ocean was unpredictable and survival uncertain, the roc embodied every fear sailors carried with them. Storms, isolation, the feeling of being insignificant in a vast world. Unlike the phoenix, which symbolizes rebirth, the roc symbolizes power without mercy. It does not guide, it does not protect, it exists, and that alone is enough to inspire fear. As centuries passed, belief in the roc slowly faded. Maps became more accurate, oceans were crossed more frequently, and the unknown began to shrink. Yet the roc never truly disappeared. It survived in literature, in art, in the collective imagination. Even today, modern fantasy draws heavily from this ancient legend. Giant birds in movies, games, and novels often trace their origins back to this ancient legend, because the idea of the sky itself turning hostile still terrifies us. So, did the roc really exist? Perhaps not in the form described by ancient storytellers, but its origin was real. The fear was real. The eggs were real. The vastness of the world was real. And sometimes that is enough. The roc reminds us of a time when humanity did not believe it ruled the planet, a time when nature was mysterious, untamed, and powerful beyond comprehension, a time when the sky itself could carry death on wings. And somewhere, beyond the edge of ancient maps, beyond the last known horizon, the roc still flies, not in the sky, but in our imagination.